Frank, you spoke earlier this year about hoping to be able to learn a lesson while getting a win and not having to lose. Would tonight be a good example of that?
That's what we talked about after the game, and this is not the only time we have to do a better job throughout the season holding big leads. But still with that, we had a dominant performance in the first half, and I was proud of how we came out and approached the game. And we just got to understand it's a four-quarter game, 48-minute game, and when the other team's down big, they're going to extend their pressure and they're going to keep coming after you. So, we didn't play well enough in the third or fourth quarter, but like you said, you learn lessons when you win, and it's always a good thing.
With Caruso, what's going on with him? Was there some awareness before this game that he might have some tightness, and how did that affect your rotation off the bench?
Yeah, I mean it's been minor, but they did tell me a game or two ago that he's been fighting some tightness in his calf, and just something we keep an eye on. They didn't think he would miss any time, but towards that end of the third, it was a long quarter, and they informed me then that he would not return because of tightness.
Frank, 22-point lead going into the fourth. Was it your intent to keep LeBron and AD out the rest of the night at that point, or what was kind of your thought process?
Yes. I wouldn't play them the whole third if I thought that we were going to need them to return. Sometimes that works against you if you don't extend the lead in those final 3 minutes or so of the third quarter. It creates a difficult situation, but guys in the fourth quarter got to come in and do their job too. And, they went on a big run to start the fourth, so we had to bring it back.
Frank, the way you guys started the game, 11 for 11 from the field, and it seemed like you were locked in on both ends of the court. Was that attributed to any sort of turning of the page, like the calendar year? Did you guys have any discussions leading up to this game, like let's enter into a new phase of the season?
We do have the kind of new phase. It's a new year. Let's get off to a good start. But, really I'm asking our guys to dominate everybody they play. We played a stretch of games where, we played against teams with winning records, and we have a few games against teams that are playing good basketball, but, teams that don't have winning records. And, you have to come into the game with a mindset to dominate. And, I think our guys took that message to heart and really came after these guys to start the game. I was proud of them.
Frank, you guys, tonight and for most of the season, statistically, have really suffered when LeBron and AD don't play, but particularly just when LeBron doesn't play. What needs to be done better when he's not on the floor so that you can steal more of these moments and stuff for him?
Yeah, I think that there really hasn't been a lot of volume of those minutes, to see that. I think we're going to be fine, in those situations. We have plenty of firepower, plenty of defensive talent, to sustain, him being out for stretches of games, or, we missed him one game last week and we didn't play well, but we're capable of winning games and winning those stretches.
So approaching the fourth quarter, LeBron and Anthony Davis had both played 30 minutes. They played the entire third quarter because Frank Vogel just saying right there, he was hoping to be able to rest his stars there in the fourth, which kind of brings me to this conversation you two were just having when it comes to the bench. I know we've talked a little bit about it all season long because it's been a bit up and down. The Lakers bench at one point has put up 72 points per game. They've put up 53 in a game. Tonight, just 30. Obviously, minutes and rotations, that all kind of plays a part, opportunity. But what's a good number? What do you want to see from the Lakers bench going forward, knowing that down the stretch, playoff time, you're going to need everybody when it matters most?
Well, I mean, they're capable of getting, 35 when they're rolling pretty good. We know Kuzma's capable of getting, 15, 17 points. And then other guys like Dwight Howard usually gets, 7, 8, 9, and then you pick up some other ones. So I think in order to do what they want to do, they're going to have to average somewhere 32, 33 points. They're capable of doing that, especially when the starters may or may not be, on fire. So I just think 32, 33 somewhere there is a good number.
Let me rephrase it, because maybe it's not just a number. Maybe it's an expectation for that bench unit to really just continue to set the tone defensively and allow the numbers, the offense to come when it see fit. Is that another way to look at it?
Yeah, I mean, look, on the defensive end, you're going to have to hold down when the two superstars aren't out there, because when AD's not out there, LeBron's not out there, Kyle Kuzma might be the guy to be featured. But however, Big Game touched on it. They got to be somewhere between 30 to 35 points on a consistent basis, and I feel like that'll always equate to a win.
What did you see from Kyle Kuzma tonight? We talked about it coming off that 0-point game against Dallas. We knew that wasn't going to happen again, but just his effort and his ability to get back in that scoring column, of course.
Yeah, when he, has a poor game, he usually comes back pretty good. 5 of 15. I'm sure he, like a better percentage than that. 3 of 10 from 3. But, early on, I saw a little bit more patience in his game on the offensive end. Sometimes he rushes things and takes shots too quick and ends up shooting 3 of 10. I think he's a better shooter than that percentage-wise. But overall, I think he's starting to understand that he's got to let the game come to him a little bit and not rush the issue.
I feel like he did a great job of getting his shots in different ways. He got open looks. He got slash to the basket. He got some transition stuff. And only a couple field goals, obviously, but those opportunities are going to continue to come, and he'll be getting more efficient with his field goal percentage.
There were a couple of moments, too, down the stretch there in the fourth quarter where you'd rather overpass than turn it over for not passing enough, right? Because that can become a bit contagious. But Kuz was on some of the ends of those late catches and having to kind of heave it up a little bit down the stretch.
Yeah, I think the offense
could mess with rhythm.
Yeah, the offense got a little distorted this at times because you was playing with such a huge cushion, and you was just like oversharing at times, and it kind of cost us a little bit and cost us our cushion.
No question. I think it did contribite to his poor lack of shooting. When you get it with 3 seconds, you got to put up a shot. That's tough.
It's tough.
It's still 3 of 10, but it's tough.
Yeah. All right, let's go inside the Lakers locker room. Anthony Davis is there with Kirsten Watson. Happy New Year is right. Lakers undefeated in 2020. As we say hello and welcome back to Sportsnet Lakers, driven by your Southern California Honda dealers. I'm Allie Clifton, joined by the Hall of Famer Big Game James Worthy, Tough Juice, Caron Butler. If there's one thing we know about the NBA, no lead is big enough. The Lakers led by as many as 36, and then, of course, the Suns cut it to as few as 7. Came out with some renewed energy there in the second half, rightfully so, after being down to 33 at halftime. They turned up the defensive intensity. At one point, Lakers 1 of 16 in the fourth quarter, but then hit timely shots, got defensive stops, proved why they're atop the Western Conference at 27-7, and now 18-0 versus sub-500 teams. Wasn't always pretty, but a win is a win.
Yeah, after allowing 17 points, Phoenix only allowing them 17 points in the first quarter, and the Lakers scoring 43, getting that 36-point lead. That then becomes a tough game to play because you get that cushion, you start to relax a little bit, and then before you know it, they're back into it. For the most part, the starters did their job. They had in the plus-minus department, all 5 starters were in the plus department. The Lakers bench, however, every player in the minus, with the exception of Caruso, who only played 4 minutes. So that's a concern the coaching staff has to look at a finishing game when LeBron and AD are out of the game, when they have those big leads. They got to figure out how that second unit can keep those leads. That was a dangerous game.
Yeah.
It was a dangerous game down to the end.
It was a trap game, and you know what? They got a little loose, like you said, playing with that cushion. And you felt like you was playing excellent basketball, and all of a sudden you put your guard down for a second. They have guys more than capable that was trying to come and spoil the fun of, the LeBron birthday party, the New Year's, everything. But rightfully so, they did an excellent job of just imposing their will on the game down the stretch and getting a quality win.
Can't forget the Suns may not have the best overall record, but they were on a 2-game win streak and just came back from 19 down to Portland. So you knew they had it in them, but the Lakers took care of business. No doubt, and Caron, you said you liked the honesty, how he kept it real right there. Phoenix just outplayed the Lakers in the second half, 66-43 to be exact. How tough is it, guys, when you do build such a great lead? Big Game, you kind of touched on it, that 33-point lead, how well they played in the first half. But when shots aren't falling, you never want to allow that to dictate your defense. But it's human nature, and sometimes it does.
Yeah, it really is part of it. And when you're not playing your best basketball, like specifically in the second half, it's a learning experience, and you learn from it. Sometimes you can win games and still learn from some experiences. Like, we cannot ever let our guard down like that. And, they got guys more than capable, as we just stated earlier, that can win them games. You know, Devin Booker is a heck of a talent. Kelly Oubre is a heck of a talent. So for a second, they got they flow running and got some momentum in their favor. But I still like the fact that we was able to squeeze it out and get a win. Whether it was ugly, whether it was a lead that we had, we still found the way to get it done.
That's kind of going to be the sign of a great team in terms of how they respond, finding ways in which, despite a win, there were some ugly moments there in the second half.
Without question. And, you know, you don't want your stars, you know, after they're iced down. It's hard for starters after they're iced down. You relax. You think the game is over, especially for AD. I thought it was difficult. LeBron seemed like he's used to it a little bit more. So it's something that they'll learn from and try to correct. It's just one of those checks they'll have to check off that they can't allow to happen.
Isn't
when they get
crazy, though?
It was a load management game tonight. They didn't get to do it.
17, he's still able just to pop back up and do that.
Hit a big three.
That's great. No,
Yeah, I
that's
agree
impressive,
with you.
man.
But here, that's kind of the other thing is guys will tell you that they don't go into a game hoping to sit in the fourth quarter. They play because they love to play the game. But that's kind of a benefit when you work your tail off for much of the game like the Lakers did to have your stars be able to rest and buy some time.
Yeah, it's something that the bench players really have to take a little bit more pride. Karan, you know from the times that you've coming off the bench and you didn't start, you know how critical that was. When you got a big lead, you want to sustain that and let your star players just get that extra 10 minutes is a big difference.
Yeah, you have to show that you can be relied upon in those moments. To big game point, you know, LeBron James, I mean, he's going to take you there. AD's going to take you there. But other guys have to be able to say, you know what, y'all develop this cushion. We can sustain it or push it further ahead. But you have to show that value, and that's when the coaching staff and the players and